reacts on the brakes, and if you've got a little bit of lock on, if you touch the curbs when you're trying to brake, it makes it very, very difficult. Dean's actually done 2 purple sectors.
Now hang on a minute, that wasn't Dean Stoneman we were looking at, that was Kazim Vasiliauskas. Sorry, Dean is now right behind Philippe Eng. That wasn't Stoneman and Jochen, then that was Vasiliauskas and Will Brad. Sorry, that's me misidentifying the red and white cars. So yes, that wasn't Dean having a moment, and that was Kazim. So that is the battle for 4th place, and Ajit Kumar misses everything. Well, congratulations, he's the first man who's got really sideways through there and managed not to hit the wall.
And so, Dean's just done a 31.3, 6/10 behind Philippe, as we can see now, so he's really, really flying.
So he really has got pace that Eng just can't answer at the moment. And I was talking to him about the tactics of the race earlier on, saying obviously what you want to be doing is pushing Eng all the way, making him defend, getting good traction. When you're defending, when you're in front, you have to be conservative on how you use the corner. When you're Dean, you can go really wide at the hairpin to get a good drive out and really put him under pressure. That's exactly what we're seeing here. As Will Brat's gone by Kazim Vasiliauskas, he's been able to force Kazim to not use the ideal line going into a chicane. That means you're in trouble coming out, but the guy behind, all the aces then are in your hands when it comes to traction and being able to drive the car the way you want to through the corner.
Yeah, particularly on a circuit like this, it's the onus is on the car behind, and it's up to them really. And Dean's really flying, and I think he's. One thing to bear in mind also is how many boosts were used before on that first lap before the safety car. I'm not sure whether Philippe managed to use any or not.
Well, you're not going to have any room to spare on the street circuit. We'll just manage to find enough racing room, and in fairness, Vasiliauskas didn't exactly squeeze him up into the wall either. I mean, for everybody, job number 1 is to get to the checkered flag. Job number 2 is to worry about what position you're in as well. But especially on the street circuit, the ultimate cliche to finish first. First, you've got to finish. Is never truer than when there's concrete all around you. So, now who's that? Is that Kumar again?
Looked like Kumar.
Looked like a red rear wing on his car. And Dean Stoneman again right up behind Philippe Eng, 0.58 between them at the line, and that's close enough. He's getting a toe on every straight. Without using the overboost, he can get closer and closer and closer.
But Philippe's just done a green sector, which means it's his personal best. So clearly he's seen Dean in his mirrors, and he's really pushing as hard as he can, as you see through that chicane there.
Well, looking here at the battle for 6, Julian Palmer making no impact there at all. He outbrakes himself, goes straight through the chicane. Natalia Kowalska doing exactly the same thing. A little warning board there, you saw the back of it with the safety car. On the other side, they got a little pointy arrow going stay left. I think Natalia possibly got slightly distracted by that, or took it rather too literally, and didn't go through the chicane. But here's a battle for the lead, and Eng is defending hard. Stoneman's right with him. He's in very late. Oh, and that's going to cost him a few car lengths. It does on the exit.
And that's a real example. I was talking earlier, if you're really close behind, you lose that little bit of downforce.
Eng locks up and
just
gets
about made it.
Oh, only just. Saw a big explosion of black smoke from Dean's car as he hit the throttle on the exit. Now, to me, that looked like turbo unburnt fuel. It may well have been on the overboost there to try and negate that mistake. May not have been, but
there's a fair bit of lag coming out of a slow corner like that on these turbo-powered cars. So that may be what you're seeing there, I think.
Well, Dean set the fastest second sector of the lap there, and that was what got him right up behind Philippe Eng towards the end of the run. Now he's got to do it all again, and of course slight distraction there at the chicane with the yellow flags being out. He was right where he needed to be to make a pass, and of course the flags out and he couldn't. Now Mihan Marinescu right in the middle of this little bunch, and of course he is 2 laps behind everybody else. So slightly getting in the middle of the battle between car number 12, Kelvin Snooks, and the third one in the line, who is Benjamin Lariche. Now Lariche has dropped back a couple of places. Snooks has gone by him and Marinescu. So obviously Benjamin Lariche there making a mistake somewhere.
I'm not entirely sure whether Marinescu should be defending quite as rigorously as that if he's 2 laps down as well. He's got to be a little bit careful because Lariche is quite a few places ahead.
Julian Palmer now ahead of Sergei Afnasiev, so Palmer has suddenly come alive. He's got by Afnasiev, Paul Rees behind, and Julian finally setting off in to chase. Oh, there you go, look, there's the move. So he gets by him, and that puts Jolyon up to 6th position behind Aman Ibrahim.
And Jolyon's really flying. He's just on a purple sector, which means it's the fastest of anybody in sector 2.
2 minutes 20 seconds to go. We'll get 2 more laps in before we run out of time. Philippeng leads by 1.1 seconds. So Dean Stoneman has got a lap to catch him, then a lap to pass him. Nothing like a bit of pressure when there's concrete all around you.
Yeah, and his mistake on last lap actually cost him a second in sector 3, and he doesn't really seem to be able to be pulling Philip back in quickly enough. So that's a real shame, really, that he made that mistake.
Well, let's see. I mean, they all concertina together. That's got to be about 6 or 7 tenths, though, still between the two of them. Look at that. Very close, and Will just got it turned in. Still on the brakes, just a fraction sharper than the car could really deal with, and that has cost him a little bit of momentum, not just in that hairpin, but of course off the corner. You're so much later on the gas.
That's right. Yeah, Dean's got to be a bit careful. It doesn't overtry here and make another mistake that might cost him more.
Battle for the lead, 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, is still tight. Here comes Jolyon Palmer. He's suddenly found some pace. Aman Ibrahim in 5th place. Aman was 6th yesterday from the pit lane. Jolyon's got the pass done. Aman rejoins in front of him, but surely he's going to have to give that place back. If he doesn't, then Jolyon will probably get it in the steward's room afterwards, but it will stop him getting any closer to Kazim Vasiliauskas. Jolyon misses his braking, so they'll both be up in the steward's room. But to my mind, certainly that's a balance. It's even. That's Ajit Kumar, and that might create a problem on the final lap. We've got 40 seconds of the race remaining. The leaders go through, and Philippeng nearly caught him. Real pressure. Kumar spins. He's given them just about enough room, but it's blind there, and real pressure for the leaders. Stoneman is close. 0.56 at the line from 1.1. He closed 6 tenths on the last lap. This is now the last chance. Dean Stoneman all over Philippeng. Fantastic effort from him, but Eng again gets a half-second advantage off the corner as Dean was catching it all crossed up. The Austrian in front of him back on the gas. Fantastic last lap stuff. I'm sure it's not over. Eng on the boost there, surely pulling away from Dean Stoneman down the straight. But has he got anything to offer in the final couple of chicanes and the hairpin? Brilliant racing.
Eng's driving really well, racing really well. He knows that he doesn't have quite the pace of Stoneman, but he's doing the job, and it looks like he's probably going to make it unless he makes a mistake now. Dean
threw it into the chicane there, came off it sideways. He's giving nothing up here. If he doesn't get it, it won't be for lack of trying. Philippeng down into the hairpin for the final time, gets off the brakes safely. He will drive out. The championship leader takes his first win of the season. Second win of the season. Dean Stoneman in 2nd place, and it will be Will Bratt in 3rd, and that will right some of the wrongs for him after getting clattered out yesterday. Kazim Vasiliauskas takes 4th. Jolyon Palmer will be 5th ahead of Aman Ibrahim, and for Aman, that is the most consistent pair of performances I think I've seen him put in any category I've watched him race in. 2 6th places ahead of Sergei Afnasiev, Paul Rees, Kelvin Snooks, and the final point to Benjamin Lariche. Well, Dean Stoneman pulling up alongside Philippeng there. It was a great race between the two of them.
They were in a league of their own, and they were both racing very well, very intelligently, and it was nice to see Dean giving it absolutely everything he could to get past Philip, but Philip did everything he needed to do to win the race.
Cool, calm and collected. After race 1 yesterday, I bumped into him in the paddock, getting ready for qualifying by going to spend a couple of hours at the hotel pool, cool down, zen himself, and come back for qualifying. He took pole, and of course he ended up winning the race from pole position, but as so often is the case, the bare facts don't really tell the story of what was a thrilling encounter between him and Dean Stoneman. And the championship leader leaving Silverstone, Jolyon Palmer, 5th position here after failing to finish in race 1. So he'll be glad that he got some more points on the board and leaves his first street race circuit finally with a finish under his belt. And in the end, Natalia Kowalska from the pit lane did